don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud. Shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express.
Celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7. I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
That's right. Order now. Extremely limited. Head over to mypillow.com. You help out our platform as well as an America First Patriot company. Let me fix that a little. That bugs me. I don't know why that thing always gets loose. Welcome in, guys. Welcome to the Oreo Express. Josh here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Once again, you guys know we had court with Transtifa this morning. And I'll give you a little update. That was continued till October 29th. There's some negotiations going on. They offered a plea. I talked to the attorney yesterday. I said, this is what I'll agree to. And if not, let's just take it all the way. And no more budging on my part. And so they went in there today and continued it while those negotiations between the prosecuting attorney and the defense attorney move forward. So on October 29th, we should have an answer to bring to you guys. But when I was getting ready this morning, I'm getting ready to head out the door and I hadn't been on social media. I say, you know what? Let me see what's going on today. Let's see what we're going to talk about. And sure enough, another targeted shooting. I was reading it. And it looks like they shot into an ICE facility, somebody, and they have the suspect now. We're going to bring you information on the suspect. And, of course, he was no right-winger. Not that that even matters right now, because what matters is it's like overwhelming to me. I'm just going to be honest with you. Bad things are always going to happen. Bad things are always going to happen. But to the extent of what people are resorting to, and we know that we're going to go over a lot of the rhetoric that's been spread. You know, we talk about it every day. The justification of assaulting ICE officers because they're Nazis, they're Gestapos, they're kidnappers. They're holding. Yesterday we covered that story. They are using the 5-year-old child with autism as bait. And then we learned the real story, and that was that the father jumped out of the car and ran from ICE and left that 5-year-old with autism there like the piece of trash he is. And it's just absolutely phenomenal. Something has to change where there's an accountability in reporting. You can call it tyrant status. You can call it whatever you want, but these news agencies constantly get away with lying. every day we bring you multiple stories lying. We're going to cover all that and more. Let me jump into the chat and say hello. We got Susan Spencer saying hi to Cade. What's up, Cade? Pixie Hunter. Darla Miller says, morning all. Cade Texas says, B Mikey, way to go yesterday. Awesome generosity. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still floored. As well as you, Cade, and old Uncle Bill yesterday. Thank you guys. Cade's working, but listening. He's got to watch out for those truck drivers, though, out there, man. I was on the road again. You guys know. I went to Arizona. There's some crazy folks on the road. Melissa, how are you doing? Darla Miller, old Uncle Bill in the house. Let's see. Nola, Sugar Bear, B Mikey in the house. Thanks again, B Mikey. Renee's in the house. Renee, I should be shipping out your stuff today. I think I found a box for it. You're going to have a shirt. And if I can, I'm trying. The reason why I'm having such a problem is I got this poster for Renee too, since she won the raffle. I said I would find some other stuff. And I thought that was a Fearless Patriot. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. So I'm adding that. I think what I might have to do is ship it. Just get cardboard, cut it out, staple it, and ship this separate. But I'll know here after I hit the gym today and I go check out some boxes for that. So Mater TJ's in the house. Let's see who else. Trina, B Norton, Pixie. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We're gonna get into it now. To be honest, if you're on YouTube right now, because I'm replaying content from mainstream media, they might kick you off. So you might want to jump on Rumble to watch this. I don't know. So Kash Patel came out with a statement this morning. Why are we frozen? This is what he put out there. It says, this morning, just before 7 a.m. local time, an individual fired multiple rounds at a Dallas, Texas ICE facility, killing one, wounding several others before taking his own life. FBI, DHS, and ATF are on the ground with Dallas PD and state authorities. While we investigate this ongoing, initial review of the evidence shows an ideological motive behind this attack. See photo below. One of the unspent shell casing recovered had the words anti-ICE written on it. More updates will be forthcoming. These despicable, politically motivated attacks against law enforcement are not one-offs. We are only miles away from Prairieland, Texas, where just 2 months ago, an individual ambushed a separate ICE facility targeting their officers. It has to end. And the FBI and our partners will lead. It's cut off right there, but we got more for you. Here's this. Here's the actual tweet. It says the FBI and our partners will lead these investigation efforts to see that it's those who target law enforcement are pursued and brought to the fullest extent of justice. Thankfully, no law enforcement personnel were injured. Please pray for the injured and deceased. So there is, I think, what is that, 30-6? I don't know. I think it's probably a 30-6. I'll look at that in a minute. Once again, we have someone that hears the rhetoric that ICE is Nazis. You have Ian Omar that said abolish ICE yesterday when she shared a fake news article. And again, one thing is, and I said this before, and please pray for those people that were shot and the family of the person that is deceased. Please say a prayer for them. It's just despicable. But from what it appears, this person shot into the ICE facility, and it was actually where those bullets struck. There was actually people that were being processed, illegal aliens that were being processed at this ICE facility, and it hit them when they were targeting ICE law enforcement. Take a listen to this.
Scene of targeted violence. Time that
Hold on. Okay, let me put this up there.
The FBI is investigating this incident of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable. While we're not releasing identities of any victims at this time, what I can confirm for you is no members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack.
So that was from earlier. Obviously, I think we got Ted Cruz right here also. That's actually calling for an ending of violence. And guys, we can debate our differences. We can yell, we can get angry, we can protest, we can rally. But when the answer is to immediately going to shooting people, I mean, you just had the leftist streamer Destiny said there hasn't been enough attacks because conservatives aren't scared to go out and rally. And that's what they want. Remember, in 2016, they did a damn good job of that. People I knew, women that would usually go to these events stopped going because Antifa showed up and they caused violence and they threw piss and urine and everything else on people. They assaulted people. And it took patriot groups like the group we're part of here in Fresno, some of my boys. It took Proud Boys. It took other different groups that were going to stand up for the First Amendment to defend those people and the elderly from this. And after a while, guess what? They didn't show up. And when they did and they threw something or they assaulted, they were on the ground screaming for help. They want to go back to the point where you're silenced, where you are scared. This is what fascists do. You see it all the time. Nobody supports Trump's policies. I'm like, the only thing I haven't liked in this administration was like a week and a half ago when Pam Bondi said something about hate speech, because hate speech is free speech. Because if you get to dictate what hate speech is, then when the next administration's in, they're going to dictate what hate speech is. And they did it for 4 years. I don't know. I do have some hope. Last night, when I got home from church, I was watching some highlights of people who were given what I do, both left and right, given their opinion on the service for Charlie Kirk. And I watched some of those videos again, and it brought me back to sitting there. And I can tell you, I truly feel this is going to be a turning point. That turning point's not going to stop the evil, guys. But what it is going to do, we're going to have more good people glorifying God and living a good life. I mean, that's our goal as Christians, I guess you could say, is we want others to have the same ending that we do if we do it right? And I just watched like 7, 8 different videos.
That the FBI is investigating this.
And but the answer, and when we get to who this person was, you'll see it's no surprise. When I didn't know who it was when I was on my way to court, but if I had to figure it, I was like, and we even know who his mom is and what pages his mom follows on Facebook. We'll talk about that too. MSNBC
the
suggesting that it's right-wingers and white supremacy who are inspiring leftists to write their motives on bullet casings. They don't waste no time, folks. Well, they don't care about the illegal aliens either. Again, they cheered when it was illegal aliens, hoping that it was a right-wing guy that just wanted to kill illegals. And I was like, nah, that's not it. I'm going to wait for the rest of the story. I just do this too much. And sure enough, we find out it's this communist, the same people that have been labeled as domestic terrorists through Antifa. Take a listen.
writing. The first time we really saw that was Brenton Tarrant in the Christchurch shooting in a mosque in New Zealand, and he was a fierce, white supremacist and neo-Nazi, and wrote all over his weapon and his rounds, very hateful information. So to see this coming from, potentially the other side of the political spectrum is a little strange, because it is not something, if you are trying to, carry out some kind of message countering, more extreme right-wing stuff, I don't know why you would, use a tactic that a famous white supremacist who has been revered and copycatted over the years by other white supremacists, why you would do that. But it does appear that people are moving in that direction because they want people to know what they're doing and why they're doing it. Again.
So they're inspired by right-wing white supremacists. I just
terrorism is theater.
And we're going to tell you what they were inspired by. I'll play some of this in the background.
And for the local law enforcement.
This was at Trisha, Ohio, from DHS to discuss the shooting this morning. And let's put this up here for you.
Who was also on scene. We know that there were 3 fatalities.
There's not 3 fatalities.
Potentially detainees, not ICE law enforcement at this time, that there have been other injuries, and some individuals are in critical condition. And we'll get you that information as soon as possible. As far as the shooter goes, there was a self-inflicting gunshot wound, and he is dead. He's deceased. We believe that he was shooting at law enforcement and the detainees from an apartment building. Again, those details are still murky. It looked like it might have been a sniper or some sort of a long form shot. But as soon as we have more information, we will give that out. But we do ask the American public, please join us in praying for the victims, for our law enforcement. We've been saying for months that the rhetoric around our law enforcement, particularly ICE, the dehumanization, the demonization, has spun so far out of control, and that someone is going to get hurt.
That's exactly what they've been saying. That's what we've been saying. Whether it's Gavin Newsom, we're going to play you some videos of Gavin Newsom demonizing law enforcement for doing their job. These people are no different than your local police. They have a job to do. They're being paid. It's a constitutional obligation for them to do this job. And Democrats have done nothing when they were in power. If they didn't like the job, they just used illegal aliens as a pawn. And now we're seeing that. Let's see what else we got up here. This was Ted Cruz.
Is that no law enforcement was injured, and so that's a... This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the 3rd shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP.
Yep.
This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America,
It does have very real consequences. And we've said this. We told you this would happen, and it's not over. I think there's a point it's going to get worse. I don't think Democrats are going to stop the rhetoric. I think they'll use today as a reason to take away and try to sponsor legislation to take away your Second Amendment rights. You people who are law-abiding citizens, that your guns never killed anybody, your guns never done anything wrong. You use it for your protection. They won't talk about the ideology of the shooter. This person is brainwashed.
disagree. That's fine. That's the
We're going to
Democrat.
find out here in a minute. This person's probably brainwashed from their own mother. And the mainstream
States of America
media.
today.
Take a
People
listen
ask,
to
well,
this. Here's Gavin Newsom last night.
that's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process, no oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country. And so
here we go. These masked people jumping out of vans, kidnapping and disappearing people. You know, I know you don't know this, but this happened under Joe Biden too. That's how ICE usually works. Their families have been doxxed. Actually, I have a story I think I'll play on the next show because I don't have it up right now. But there was just someone arrested for and faces up to 5 years in jail for doxing an ICE agent. And that's what we need to do. When these people do it, we need to hold them accountable. Because they're not doxing an ICE agent because it's not free speech to intentionally do something so harm is inflicted on somebody else. Just not.
I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill to address the issue of masking. Also to require you have simple identification, to your point. I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me, I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. And so this...
By definition, you're going to push back. We know what ICE is doing. They explain it every day. They do have police vests on. What else do you want, Gavin? You want to demonize law enforcement. You want to ensure that they are attacked, that you have dead law enforcement officials. And this is what you and the Democrat Party have been doing for a long time. This is your rhetoric. This is your anti-American. We're going to give free health care to illegals. We're going to put illegal aliens ahead of American citizens. You guys just sit down and shut up, the taxpayer. We're done listening to you. We are going to continue destroying this country like we did for 4 years under Joe Biden when we had more than 20 million illegal aliens enter this country. The taxpayers paid for their food, their housing, their education, and their health care. We are done. We are done. People need to...
These are not just
rhetoric. It's not changing anybody's mind. There's nobody in the middle that is watching this and thinking, man, Gavin Newsom's got a point. No, they're speaking to their radical base. That's all they're doing, their radical base. The same ones that were protesting Charlie Kirk's memorial, the same ones that applauded the fact that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. That's the base they need. That's their loud, squeaky wheel. When they need people in the streets as a distraction, it ain't your normal, everyday people. It's your unions. It's your radicals. It's your Code Pink. It's your Antifa. It's your Trans Tifa. That's who they're speaking to when they say this. They're not speaking to America. Listen.
Authoritarian tendencies, these authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. You saw what Stephen Miller said last week. This should put chills up fine. Called the Democratic Party an extremist organization.
You are calling for violence against ICE. You are calling to unmask and dox ICE. That's not extremist. The rhetoric. I would love, And I'm not talking violence, by the way. I'd love to reach out to Gavin Newsom and do since he's got a podcast, we could call it the podcast celebrity boxing match. And we can just get in around with some gloves, and just go at it. I promise you, it won't take long. It won't take long. And then whoever wins, that person's charity of their choosing gets the winnings. And we could put it on Rumble pay-per-view. Here's Gavin Newsom 3 days ago.
What are you afraid of?
Check this out.
ICE, unmasked. What are you afraid of?
ICE, unmasked. What are you afraid of?
What are you afraid of?
Look at the barking seals in the back. You got Groomer Wiener back there. All the people that... It's just disgusting. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it again. People might disagree. I know people that try to play it safe. You can't be a Democrat and pro-America at the same time. You just can't. Remember, just earlier this month,
Slave Patrol.
Rep. Jasmine Crockett, what'd she call ICE? What'd she call ICE? Who remembers?
But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol
Slave patrols.
period.
Now,
But if you know the history of
I'm just going to say, whether you're on the right or a left, and there's a person that's owning slaves or something, we're way past that in this country, I think you'd be justified for violence. That's why they're calling them slave owners, slave patrol. I call them an Uber home. I call them an Uber home. All they're doing is detaining these people and sending them back to their home. They've had numerous opportunities to self-deport, even with getting $1,000 of our tax money and a free flight home. 2 million have been either left or have been deported since 8 months ago, 8 months and 4 days ago. And we seen last week, Chicago, ICE agent trying to run over, an illegal alien trying to run over an ICE agent, was dragging him with the vehicle. The ICE agent had to shoot. I promise you, if and this won't happen, but if Democrats came together and say, you know what, we have a problem, we'll work with you on the hardened criminals. They won't even do that. I mean, look at Kilmore Abrego Garcia, a human trafficker tied to MS-13, wife beater, all these other things. And when we deport him, you have a senator go over to, was it El Salvador, and have a margarita with him while he's in lockup. I'm telling you, it's going to be some very dark times ahead. I don't think stories like today are just one-offs anymore. And Democrats know this. They have information. They have the highest paid people. They know psychologically what they've been doing. MSNBC, CNN, they know what they're doing by repeating something over the years. It's the same thing that the CIA did way back in the day. They probably really do with brainwashing people. If you tell a lie enough, people tend to believe it, right? And that's what we've seen. And luckily for more than half of America, they don't believe anything mainstream media says. If that was the case, Trump said it the other day, he wouldn't be elected. Because when you have a 95, 97% negative coverage of you, think about that. How about this? Last month, Democrat Rep. John Larson screamed out about ICE agents being the SS and the Gestapo. Now, I think, and again, how do you justify violence against somebody? You demonize them.
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo. This is the United States of America. Unmask yourselves. The
SS and the Gestapo. We celebrated the killings of the brown shirts. And this rhetoric doesn't come from that guy sitting at home. You notice all these people started saying disappearing and kidnapping at the same time. They pay groups to get the biggest bang for their buck. So what's going to incite the most? What verbiage can we use? Every group does it. Republicans, not Republicans don't do it on this. What wording can I use? And they continue using that wording until we get to a point where now we have a leftist communist Democrat who just shot into an ICE facility hoping to kill ICE officers. And he killed someone that was being sent home. That person's family will never see them, talk to them again, all because of the actions of this rhetoric. Now listen, so we had MSNBC saying that white supremacy was an inspiration for these left-wing shooters. It's just crazy. Secretary Noem put this out. For months, we've been warning politicians and the media to tone down their rhetoric about ICE law enforcement before someone was killed. These horrendous killings must serve as a wake-up call to the far left that their rhetoric about ICE has consequences. Comparing ICE day in and day out to Nazi Gestapo, the secret police, our slave patrols have consequences. The men and women of ICE are fathers and mothers, sons and daughters. They get up every morning to try to make our community safer. Like everyone else, we just want to go home to our families at night. The violence and dehumanization of these men and women who are simply enforcing laws must stop. We are praying for the victims and their families. Let's listen to both CNN and MSNBC kind of do their damage control after the press conference where law enforcement confirmed that the person is your typical Democrat. You might want to call it a far left radical. These days, it's just Democrat. Again, you can go through right now.
There. What was your
in those Democrats, those paid influencers, the people that represent the DNC, even though it was an illegal. I mean, again, they put illegals ahead of American citizens, are only trying to point the finger.
top takeaway listening?
Well, one other clarification, Anna, which is that they're now saying that one person, in addition to the shooter, was killed, not two. So one person killed, two injured, in addition to the shooter, if I heard that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
that's what I got too. Two people deceased, including the shooter.
Okay, and look, I think the bullet casings engraved with anti-ICE messages is a huge and key revelation in this case, because this is now the third instance of targeted violence where we're seeing that. Obviously, the Charlie Kirk assassination and the Luigi Mangione alleged killing of the United Healthcare CEO in New York being the others, and that suggests that there's a copycat phenomenon going on here, and the fact that they're investigating this as a potential act of targeted violence, I think we can conclude that ICE was targeted here based on that piece of evidence. That is extremely significant, and just cast this in a new light and suggest that this is the latest in a series of incidents that really underscore the problem that we are experiencing right now in this country with politically motivated violence. And you heard the Senator Ted Cruz there talking about dialing down the rhetoric. That's that is a perfectly reasonable thing to say, but this issue of immigration and what ICE is doing in communities is incredibly divisive, and it's hard.
So what he's saying is, by these people upholding their oath and following the law and doing their job is divisive. We've had ICE in this country for many years, guys. This is not new under the Trump administration. They have weaponized it to try to hurt conservatives, Donald Trump, future elections. That's all they've done.
Hard to imagine, really, that people are going to stop feeling as strongly as they do about it. But we all need to be mindful of the fact that, look, people are being attacked and killed as a result, perhaps, of some of this rhetoric.
Didn't know what to say. They were like, damn it. We heard they were illegals, and all we wanted it to be was a right-wing shooter. That's all they wanted. That's it. So J.D. Vance retweeted Kristi Noem, and J.D. Vance, in response to Kristi Noem saying we need to tone down the rhetoric, these obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. I'm praying for everyone hurt in this attack and their families. But then you have, again, the leftist people that get paid by the DNC and other left organization. Says the vice president is not a reliable source of information. Now that this is now the 5th or 6th times he's posted a political take contradicted by facts from his own law enforcement agencies. He said this obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. I'm praying for everybody. This was an attack on ICE, and the idiot shot people that were detained. And it says, according to ICE spokesman, the 3 individuals shot were ICE detainees, leaving 2 individuals dead. It's actually 1 individual dead, community notes. No law enforcement were injured in this shooting. So if somebody decides to plant an explosive under a police car, and the police car has 2 detainees in back, and the police officer goes to take pictures of the crime scene, and that car explodes, that's an attack on law enforcement. It's intended for law enforcement. These people are trying to twist it everything they can. They have nothing. They did it with Charlie Kirk. They've done it with every other shooting we've seen. What was it in Minneapolis? The guy had no Kings protest signs in his car. Yeah, I know a lot of MAGA that's at these no Kings protests. So the person who did this, Joshua Jan, J-A-H-N. Joshua Jan, this was from Laura Loomer. Says that the text reads, Joshua Jan's profile picture from his now wiped Facebook page, per the background check results, reveal Antifa and communist imagery. The profile photos is of an armed communist with a hammer and sickle. The text reads, glorious exposition, comrade. He also has previous convictions for selling marijuana. Proof that this leftist political violence proof that this was leftist political violence against ICE. Here's some of that screenshot. We'll give you more. He was just absolutely insane. And then these wait, I'm gonna find more. Here it is. Here's his Facebook. Picture. Let me do it a little better. Glorious exposition, comrade. I know a lot of MAGA that used a hammer and sickle, right? But as we report, and we'll laugh about it in our next show about the lies going on, but this is just extremely disturbing. The mom, Sharon Jan, National Patriot News shared this. These are the Facebook pages followed by the Dallas ICE shooter's mother. Look it over here. Call to activism, the resistance. Those two alone push so much fake news propaganda, anti-American rhetoric, it's not funny. U.S. Democratic Socialists. Let's see what this is. There is Sharon Jan. Now let me see something. That's all I had the time to get on the screen before I went live, so we wouldn't have to cancel the second live today. Let me see what pulls up now. More information on the shooter. So I wonder if authorities identified the 29-year-old shooter as Joshua Jan. There's the mother. Here's a picture of him right here. May 25th, 2022, the mother, ironically, posted about gun laws. This was her post. Governor Abbott, Senator Cornyn, and Senator Cruz, how does it make you feel that your action to open up gun law is responsible for the killing of 21 more people? Do you secretly sit in front of your TV and smile a demented smile? You must be proud of all the money that sits in your bank accounts from gun lobby support. Was it worth it, Governor Abbott? How about you senators? When you provide towards money over people, this is what you get. It says, here's my hope. Maybe you be reminded of the deaths every time you spend that precious blood money you have received from the gun lobby. Hope you think of it 100% when you attend the NRA meeting in a few days. And it goes on. Nah. Now, this one was probably, he was probably radicalized by his own mother. Probably didn't take any school or media to indoctrinate this one. Let's see, the mother of Joshua. Come on. Andy, Kyoko, Maury, Noah, Josh, and Sam. Here's a photo from Laura Loomer. Don't know which one he is. Is there another one? That's from 2009. Let me pull this back up. There are some pictures going around of the shooter on the roof. I won't show you. Won't put on here. Joshua Jan's sister has a whole collection of mugshots. She does, age 18, 19, age 20, 21, 21, and 23. I wonder what was going on in this family. Just trying to get a picture of what we can right now of MSC. Looks like he might have had an arrest record. I'm not sure if this is the same guy. Joshua Jan, Date 2015. It doesn't tell why he was in Collin County. All Trump supporters are racist. That's a screenshot of maybe his social media before it was taken down. Let's see. People are calling him the drug-addicted gamer leftist who shot up Dallas ICE headquarters. Telling you that gaming community, I told you this before, it's not take your kids off games or people shouldn't play games. Not that, but there's a pretty bad, if it's a younger child, definitely watch what they're doing, what chat rooms they're in. Get them outside. All my kids, they were... Luckily, I didn't have to force them, but me and Rachel agreed they're going to do extracurricular activity every semester, play a sport. All of them did. Unfortunately for me, it was competitive. So we had to travel the state and the West Coast and come up with the money to do it back in the day. Fortunately, I had a great job, but my son, my older son's 24. He'll play games probably now more than ever because he's working 2 jobs and going to school and he's broke. Can't afford to go out and do anything. But Caden, like we've made an agreement with Caden. If we have games, we'll put a time limit on it. We won't let him get in chat rooms. He's not getting a phone. I used to think when phones came out and they had the iPhone, I remember my son, my oldest son. And luckily I'm a little technical when it comes to stuff, but my oldest son, he was in 2 different homes. Me and his mother was divorced. He's 24 now. And I was like, the easiest way to avoid any conflict between his mom is I'll just get him a phone. And he was like 7 years old. And he had I don't know what it was, a flip phone or an iPhone or something like that at 7 years old. But I also learned how to put programming on it that he could not use it at certain times. And see if anything else is here. Picture of shooter. Here's a copy of Joshua Jan's voter registration. As we reported by Current Revolt, Jan voted Democrat in the 2020 Democrat primary in Texas. Listen to this lady. I don't know how smart she is, if she's a grifter, if she's just bored.
John, and we have confirmed that Joshua John is indeed a revolutionary communist that is a member. I'm Carolyn Borisenko. I'm an analyst and independent journalist covering the far left in America. And breaking news, the shooter at the ICE facility in Dallas is confirmed to be Joshua John. And we have confirmed that Joshua John is indeed a revolutionary communist that is a member of Antifa. And I'm going to show you the evidence.
RevCom. We point to RevCom all the time. We see them in California. We've ran into them. The revolutionary communist, RevCom.
Now, when I first saw Joshua's picture today, I have to be honest, I said to myself, that is exactly what I would expect a member of Antifa to look like, but we don't want to go on looks alone. And then this profile of John surfaced with what appears to be a communist photo. And when we zoom in, yep, that's pretty communist. That's pretty communist right there. I did question if this was real, and it does look like it did come from Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer might be crazy, but she is great for research and information like this. So it is confirmed that the ICE shooter is indeed a member.
Yeah, nothing new there. So that's what we have for you today. We will be live again. I wasn't even planning on doing a morning because we just did this because it was breaking news. So we will be back in a few hours. Again, say a prayer for this nation. I miss the old days. And I'm not saying like I liked violence, but it was just a good old fisticuffs. You fought somebody. If they hit the ground, you picked them up. It's how you settled your differences back in the day. You didn't shoot somebody. You didn't stab somebody. You didn't kick them while they were down. Seems like these days all you have is these people that I don't know if it's a brain rot. Like, you know, I wear that shirt that says liberalism is a mental disorder. I think sometimes it has to do more than with evil, and it's demonic. Maybe I'm far off. I'm just telling you my opinion. But pray for these people that were shot, their families, those that are injured. Pray they heal. Pray for our law enforcement and first responders. There's people right now putting on their pant leg, just like me and you, one pant leg at a time, that now have this on their mind, especially ICE. Am I going to go to work? Am I going to be driving a transport van and someone just target me? I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. So I will see you guys very soon. Have a blessed day, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud. Shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart.